thermal sound wave.
It's thermal sound waves, the natural alternative to fast food radio. We hear C.Truth, Kev Lawrence.
Right.
Yes, indeed. Right about now, we have the pleasure of welcoming someone who is a great entertainer, a great performer, a great composer,
a great executive,
great writer, a great executive. Absolutely. And
a cool guy.
Cool guy and a great businessman, which we are going to learn about today.
Fashion, man. I say something.
Now, who y'all talking about? Because I want to know this guy.
We are talking about none other than Mr. Jeff Redd.
Talk about you.
Oh, me. Okay, what's going on, y'all? How's everything going?
Everything's great, man. Everything's great. Glad to have you on the program, Jeff Redd.
Nah, thank y'all so much for having me on the program, man, to the Thermal Sound Waves Radio.
Yes.
All right. I love it.
Absolutely. And for those who don't know Jeff Redd, where did you come up? Did you come up in Mount Vernon? Like, where did you grow up?
Come on, man. Come on. You know where I came up at in Mount Vernon, New York, man. Because there's a lot of Mount Vernon. There's a Mount Vernon in D.C.
Yeah.
It's different Mount Vernon.
That's
so
right.
You talking about the Vernon. We know.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Born in White Plains. Moved to Mount Vernon when I was 2. Just give you a whole quick backstory of me. Raised in Mount Vernon. My father died when I was 8. He was the one who influenced me to sing. Every time we had company, he would make my sister and I sing a song called I Know I'm in Love by a group, Chi-Chi and Peppy. And when he passed away, maybe 2 years later, this lady whose house we lived in, she wanted my sister and I to go with her to a show. So my mother said it was okay. We drove down to Harlem and we got on this long line. I never been, to this place before. So I get there, the lights go down and I hear this man screaming. Everybody in the audience is going crazy. And this guy is saying, "Are you really ready for some Super Dynamite Soul?" Well, thank you, because now it's start time. And when I saw that man come out on the stage and people went crazy at 10 years old, I said, I know exactly what I want to do. And that was James Brown.
Wow.
And that changed my life forever.
Beautiful. And history was made from that point on.
Yeah, it was a great time. And then from there, of course, I got in the music business, got my record deal at Uptown, and made one album, which was A Quiet Storm. Then I moved to EMI, made another album, Down Low. And then they got rid of the black music department at EMI. Then I went on to start managing a few acts here and there. And then I got on at MCA as an A&R person. The first project I worked on at MCA was Salt and Pepper. And they had a record called Champagne. And I A&R'd that with Herbie Lovebug. And we won a Grammy for that song.
Congrats.
And then after that, the next project I worked on was Casey and JoJo, which was easy for me because we was all on Uptown together. So
and
I worked on their first
people
album.
like Andre Harrell,
yes,
Sean Combs, okay.
Sean Combs, Andre Harrell, George Harrell,
Dwight Myers,
Jimmy Jenkins. A lot of people came. Eddie F. The label was Heavy D, and a whole bunch of people. I brought Mary J. Blige into the fold in '89.
Wow!
So it was a great time for music, and then after that. Leaving when EMI, I got rid of the black music division. I then went over to being an A&R at MCA Records, and it was good times, man.
Absolutely. It's Thermal Sound Waves, the natural alternative to fast food radio. We here with Mr. Jeff Redd, C.Truth, Kev Lawrence.
The Jeff Redd.
Yes, indeed. How does it feel to have a song that no matter how old, no matter where you go, it's a hit still to this day? Like, you can still perform that song. And what I'm talking about, folks, is You Called and Told Me. Like, that's always something that flies and just gets things just ridiculously off the chain at a party, at a club.
It's amazing to me because that was one of many gifts that God gave me, was that song. Because I remember when Andre had brought me the song, and I forgot what the lyrics were before I rewrote it. I said, man, this is whack, man. He said, well, I don't care how whack. He said, I don't care how whack it is. If you don't like it, rewrite it, but the track is hot.
Right.
So I rewrote it, and here we are. I'll tell you exactly. Here we are 35 years later, and that record is still being played and, on the radio, and they have it now when you want to post something, it's there. So, it's still standing the test of time by the grace of God.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes when I do hear your song being played, sometimes all the time, it is kind of remarkable. Like, you could be eating forever with this song. It's like you be eating forever. I'm like, can I get an oxtail dinner with you sometime? Because you're eating forever. Like, you paying the tip off top. But you really eating forever off this song. It's like, it's funny because, for one, it's well deserved. Two, it's like it was effortlessly. Like, it was done by you. Ain't like you was having fun.
Man, that's what the 90s were, was fun. You know, if you went up to Uptown any day, you had me up there, you had Mary, you had Jodeci, Father MC, Heavy D, you had Albie Shore stepping up in there, you had, and that's why you see a lot of people, because Uptown was at 1775 Broadway, 1755, 1775 on Broadway, and that was where MCA Music Publishing was at. So that's why I would see Rakim all the time. I would see Angie Stone, God rest her soul. And I would, that's how I met a lot of people up there, because the way we had it at Uptown, it was anybody can come upstairs. You know, that's how we found the guy Dave Hall, and we had all these other producers that were just coming up and meeting, and can we do a meeting? And you meet them and you tell them to play tracks. They got something you like, you get it. It wasn't about now when you go to a record label, man, you got to go through security. You got to get a sticker. They want to take a picture of your ID. You know, it was just, you know, anybody could come up, and that's how we found a lot of great music and great talent.
Now, Mr. Red, you obviously have you have many songs. However, one of the hit songs obviously came from the movie soundtrack Strictly Business, which was probably that was like the premiere time where you were starting to get a lot of the music of the urban culture that go with the party with the movies.
Yeah,
correct. It was just like a wave going through.
Soundtrack was very important to movies.
Soundtrack was very important.
Yes, it was.
Like, you had that soundtrack. You had Above the Rim soundtrack. You have a lot of
New Jack City,
Juice.
Like, you expect that soundtrack to be something serious, and it was serious.
Yes.
How was that wave for you?
That was a great time. Like I said, the 90s and the parties and the meeting people. And, you know, here we are, because I signed my deal in 88. So it's 37 years since I've, you know, been in the record business. And it was funny, I had ran into Busta like maybe about 7, 8, 9 months ago. And it was something that Mona Scott was doing, and she brought him there.
Shout out to Mona Scott.
I looked at him.
Violator.
And it was crazy, because I remember doing a show at the Ark in Brooklyn, man. I still have the flyer.
You made it out?
And it was...
You made it out? You made it out,
brother. I made it. But it's so funny you say that. That place was jammed.
All right, that's why I was notorious.
Yeah.
Yo, it was jam-packed, and it was notorious for all the rah-rah, too.
Oh, yeah.
But it was this young cat outside. You know, I pull up in a limousine, and he said, yo, man, could I get in, man? I want to get in with you. I said, come on, get on in. And that guy was Busta. He was a young kid back then, and, you know, he never forgot that. And he went on to do great things, man. And, you know, it was, the 90s were a great time, like I said, to meet people, a great time for music. We partied a whole lot. We loved a lot too, man. I mean, we still have people that we associate with, man, 37, 40 years ago. So it was, I like, you know, I hear a lot of people saying, you know, that it was probably one of the greatest times for music in R&B.
Yeah.
Like, of course, you had Motown, you had Stax, you had the Philly sound, but Uptown was
fusion.
like the Motown. Yeah, it was like the Motown of that time.
Facts.
Of our time.
Facts.
And on top of the music aspect of it, one thing I will always say, which I'm not ashamed of saying, a lot of people don't want to say things like this because they feel like if I say that means he gonna feel like no, you always dress to par, and it's like grown man fly.
Yeah, but go back to the 90s and look at the videos. We had on clothes. If they even if they were big, they were clothes. You had collared shirts, you had slacks.
Yes.
I mean, that it was uniform, and we would never take pictures with a drink in our hand. It was just certain things we couldn't do as artists, man. And I mean, when we went around, and the way that, you know, now it's a little different how you promote because you have the internet. But back then we had to go to each market and go to the one stops. A lot of people don't know what a one stop is. That's where the record stores would get their records.
Not the gas station, everybody. Not the gas station. The one stop.
Right. Yeah, the one stop record outlet. And then from there you would go and do morning radio. From there you would go do you would go to eat, but what they would do is your promotion person would make you stand up at the restaurant and sing for everybody. And then back then we would have 8x10, so you would sign them, and then they would put your 8x10 up in the restaurant, and then you would do a show that night, and then you would do it all over again the next day into the next market. So I mean, it was hard work, and a lot of us had really, embedded ourselves into the country and the world because people remembered the handshakes and the face-to-face. Now, everything is via Zoom or internet where you're not really embracing the person and meeting the person. So it was totally different then than it is now. And that's why, by God's grace, I always say that we're still relevant because the people that we met, they were younger back then, but now they're older, but they have forgot the impression we made on them.
I once again, shout out to you. And let's come right back.
Yeah, what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a break. We're going to let y'all digest all of that history.
We got a couple of questions.
I know some of y'all is going to get the Google out and start looking back at some of the stuff he said. Oh, wow. He was talking about that person. Like, yes, folks, the people that he was just listing are some of the legends in music history, period. Forget about R&B, blah, blah. Music history, period. When you look at the catalog, publishing catalog, song catalog, music catalog,
publishing trill
in the history of music, just some of the greats ever that put it down. Anyway, it's Thermal Sound Waves, natural alternative to fast food radio. We here talking to artist, writer, composer, producer, entrepreneur, Mr. Jeff Red here with us on the program. Talking about soundtracks and things like that and movies. How come you didn't get more into the wave of the acting scene as far as doing that?
You know what? That's something I really wanted to do. And when I was ready to do it, it was all different kind of things that were going on in my life. With my mother, I had to take care of my mother for 9 years. Then I had to take care of my uncle. And then I had to take care of my aunt. And then, things had just happened, man. But that's not something that I'm leaving out. I still want to, get into that whole world of movies and, acting and stuff like that. So I've been a dear friend of mine, Barry Michael Cooper, who just passed away like maybe a month or so ago. He gave me a lot of things to study, so I've been doing that over the years. So that's definitely something I would love to do. And it's not anything that I can't do because now you can shoot your own little short movie. It's nothing, it's nothing to it.
Absolutely. So now let's bring it forward towards what you're doing on the business tip and tell us about the establishment that you have out in Brooklyn.
Well, my wife and I, Teresa Red, we had started a store called Reimagine BK. It's located in Brooklyn on 708 Franklin Avenue between Park and Prospect. And we came up with this idea because when I met her, I used to always put on the clothes, but she would look at the clothes and say, "Where did you get that from?" I said, "I got it from the thrift store." And a lot of my clothes came from the thrift store.
She made it fly, though. That's what I'm talking about. It's not really about like the name brand. It's who's wearing it.
Right. And, I would go get suit jackets for $15. I would get suits for $70. And, these were the textile of these suits were amazing. So long story short, I have all these clothes that I purchased over the years. And most of that stuff is what we use to get the store started. And we wanted to get into the thrift business because we wanted to service the people. Number one, not only service people with great product, but also with great energy and great customer service. That's what we pride ourselves on, is customer service and being able to have customers walk in, have a great experience, as well as purchase product.
And that's very important. Like, that's actually that is the key for every business. It's the customer service.
Absolutely.
If that's lacking,
that's everything.
Yeah, if that's lacking, then it's like you're lost. you're
that's
lost.
It. Yeah, because now, although it's a small store, now, you have to make sure the store is properly set up. And, because it's not like we have a big space. The space is I think it's 900 square feet, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, with that space, we really utilizing it properly. Now what we're doing, besides the vintage clothing and new clothing for men and women, we are now doing art exhibits. And so we had our first art exhibit 2 weeks ago with an artist. His name is Carlos Mateo. He's an Afro-Cuban artist. And we had his art up for like 2 weeks. And now we have the next lady who's there. Her name is Elise Lobelton, if I'm not mistaken. She has a different theme. Carlos' theme was angles through harmony. I believe that's what it was. And this theme is resilience and diversity. So, you know, now we're really touching the waters of, you know, the whole art gallery scene and just being able to have this place that's like a destination instead of just a store.
And I've seen some very, very fly clothes up in there. The jackets, it ain't just like, people might think it's just a regular thrift shop. No, it's the fly stuff is in there. The furs.
Yeah, we got the minks.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of stuff is up there. That's what I'm saying. It's like you hear thrift shop, like, oh, it's something, you know, a little cheap shirt. No, it's that stuff to make people say, where'd you get that from?
Wow. Right. And that's the thing. And then one of a kind. So it's not like you're going to see it everywhere. And that's the way I really designed it. And we really designed it, my wife and I. And I'm just very happy about it. We've been open now for 9 months. And the feedback is amazing. We have a group of young ladies who are doing the marketing and promotion for it. And they're doing an exceptional job on TikTok and IG. So we're just excited about the future for what we're doing in this store. Reimagine BK, 708 Franklin Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11238, man. So, you know, everybody, if you're in town or in Brooklyn, definitely stop by, man, because, I mean, you're going to have not only an opportunity to see some beautiful garments, but you're going to get a great experience in the store.
That's great, because and especially being in Brooklyn, someone who grew up in Brooklyn, it's like there was a time where it's like the thing was getting that piece or getting that particular outfit that was different from everybody else's. So you would come through and you display it, you know, at school or wherever you were, and it was like, yo, where'd you get that? And that's the reaction that you wanted. So it's like stores like that you have there, Reimagine BK, is like, you know, places like that is where you can find things like that, and you can bring back that kind of whole vibe of, you know, just being unique and being different with what you got on. Because, you know, a lot of the things nowadays is pretty much similar or the same, with everybody's doing the same thing or talking, you know, wearing the same thing. And it's like, nah, but there was a time where it's like you wanted to be unique with what it was you had on and the style that you was rocking. It's great that you have a store like that.
Yeah, I'm just happy. And like you said, it is, and in all actuality, man, it's time to start putting clothes on again. You know, I know we got comfortable during the pandemic, putting sweats on and all that stuff, but it's time to put some clothes on. So we can, you know, it's time, man.
Listen, I'm seeing a lot of guys outside in pajamas and what you call it? Not even the old dog house shoes, not the old dog from Cali. Ugg slippers outside, like my man. If it goes down, you slippery and slidey, like you can't stay on your square.
Yeah, but you know what, man, and
those are the new old dogs,
right? Style, and even the old cats is doing that. So, like I said, I know when I put on clothes and I walk down the street. I never forget, it was one particular time I was doing something on 145th Street. And my wife and I was walking down. I had on a black tuxedo. She had on a gown. And these young people just stopped and said, "Excuse me, Mr. Y'all look good." And, you know, if they see that a lot, they'll start doing it. And I'm not going to say that they're not dressing up, because I'm starting to see, like, a lot of the young kids. I like to look at ASAP Rocky. You know, he put some clothes on, man. I saw him had on a pair of big slacks and some shoes.
He's been heavy into fashion.
He's been heavy into fashion.
Yeah, he's a bad boy, man. He's a bad boy.
Shots on ASAP. Cool.
Yes, so the young kids are getting it. You know, you do still have some that's wearing the pajamas, but I think they're really starting to understand fashion and, you know, their own interpretation of it.
Yes,
because I mean, we were coming up fashion in the 70s, 80s, you know, you go to AJ Lester, British Walker, Layton's, you go to those spots, and you go on 3rd Avenue, And, you know, we would shop and get Opus mock necks and quarter fields down on Delancey Street. And, you know, everybody was kind of vibing with that energy, man. So, you know, I guess each generation has their own take on fashion.
Yeah, but everything's cyclical and comes around. So, you know.
Absolutely.
We're back
and that's why I say now, I believe it's really, and we have a seamstress in the shop. So, you know, you see something you like is too big or it might be too small. We might let it out or we can take it in. So we have a seamstress on. And that's what the boutique's supposed to be.
Exactly.
You have a boutique with vintage clothing. You have something you really like, but it's too big. We can take it in, so and you can have it.
If you have a Bigfoot pants, you can get hem up a little bit.
Bigfoot pants.
Right.
And then an M it up.
All right. No, that's true. Yeah. So, you know, that's one of the perks too. You know, and you can bring clothes in and have the seamstress do it. You don't have to buy clothes there in order to get stuff taken in. So, you know, we have that service as well.
Incredible. Yes, indeed, folks. So check it out. What's the Instagram website and such?
It's Reimagined, Reimagined, Reimagined BK. And that is at 708 Franklin Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11238 between Park and Prospect.
And big shout out to, you get hats at your store too. I got the
yes, my son has his line of hats there. Jai International.
Shout
you
out
can
to
also
Jai.
go to his website, which is Jai International. JAIINTERNATIO.
Do you have the pretty lady hats too? The pretty lady hats in there also?
The ladies make the hat pretty.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Jeff, some of these women out here, they got to stop wearing the bonnets. Just coming out here in the bonnets. You know
bonnets, not a hat.
Not the Easter bonnets.
It's headwear though. It's headwear.
Not the Easter bonnets. Not those. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I
know just what you're talking about.
They just
like
coming out here like butt naked with the bonnets on.
I think
the butt naked part's fine.
All get a pass because you still got to understand that, you know, they're coming out of the pandemic era, man. And like I said, it made everybody relax. Even now, it's hard to find suits in these department stores.
Yeah.
And what's happening? Department stores are closing.
Yep.
So, you know, these small boutiques is going to go back to that because, you know, when I was coming up, like I said, you had all those different stores that you can go to that specialize in certain things.
And that's important. So, anyway, we need to support local and we need to support small business.
Absolutely.
And shout out to your wife / publicist. Does a great job. Shout out to her.
Yeah, she really is, man. Shout out to my wife, Teresa Red. She is a marketing guru, and you know, these like the art gallery and all that stuff was all her idea because she dealt in art for the last probably 15 years. Last year, she was a marketing person for the Harlem Fine Arts event.
Nice.
And so she's really into that art world, man. And I'm learning now. So I'm YouTube and all this art stuff and seeing what it is. And, you know, so I can have intellectual conversations as well about it. But I do understand the importance of art because during these times that we're going through, art is very important, just like music is very important around this time. Because this is when, like, I remember back in the 60s and 70s, when you had Curtis Mayfield talking about we're a winner, you had James Brown saying, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. And that's when all these different movements came up around this, when we're going through things like we are today.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we thank you for taking time out to be on the program and talk about all the things that you're doing and some of your history as well. We definitely appreciate it. Make sure you all support that Reimagine BK and also look out for Jeff on the screen. At some point.
Look out for Jeff on the screen. Look out for, I got a new single out with my man DJ Ron G. I don't know if y'all remember Ron G.
Yeah,
of course. Of course.
Yo, it's funny. He had reached out to me because, you know, when I was doing A&R, I would always call Ron G to do remixes.
Of course you did. He's the remix. Yeah, Mary J. Blige.
He's the remix king.
Yes, indeed.
Right. And he hit me about maybe a month ago. No, he hit me a long time, like maybe 6 months ago, sent me a bunch of tracks to listen to. I identified one, knocked it out. And, you know, I just said, you know, we put it out there. And now, you know, it's doing pretty well. The name of the track is Good Times. They can listen to it on my YouTube channel, which is Jeff Red Music. at Jeff Red Music. So check it out. It's Good Times, produced by DJ Ron G and Ace Digital. And great song. I'm getting ready to put out a video tonight. I just put a piece of the video out, and it's a very creative video that was done by our brother. His name is Stephen Green. He a guy that has been working with me for the last few years, doing videos and whatever I asked him to do. But I think now he's done this real creative animated video, and I want everybody to check it out. So go to at Jeff Red Music, and it's for you to find me. It's at The Real Jeff Red, and that's 2 D's. TherealJeffReddD.
Definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Red, thank you once again for being on the program and doing all the wonderful things and making a contribution to making the world better with your music and the art in the store.
And I want to thank Thermal Soundwaves Radio, Mr. C.Truth, and my brother Kev Lawrence. Y'all keep on doing what you're doing. Keep spreading positive news and informing the people, man. Y'all take care and God bless.
All right, man.
Definitely.
Have a good time, brother.
Yes, sir.
My brother. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.
It's Thermal Soundwaves, a national alternative to fast food radio. We hear C.Truth, Kevin Lawrence.
Yep.
Thermal Soundwave.